Welcome in, everybody, to Extreme Talk presented by GracePointe Healthcare. Request your new patient appointment online, $20 off your visit. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way, GracePointeHealthcare.com. Also fueled by Fairlife Core Power Protein, financially supported in part by First Horizon, and sponsored by Crumble Cookies and Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Welcome to everyone watching or listening around the world. Spencer Thompson alongside Brendan Daniel and James Shannon. We got the three cameras set up now. Audrey, go ahead and show off the individual angles we have for everybody. Go ahead and show maybe Brendan here. He could give his look at the camera and look to everybody.
We need to get the whole red light system so we know which one's on. Or we could just have her go.
Either a red light system or she's pointing to pretty much.
That.
If you're talking, you could be reassured that you'll be focused on.
Well, that camera adds about 50 pounds, dude.
Guess he ate like 50 cameras then.
What?
That's from Between Two Ferns. I think it was with Steve Carell or something like that.
Carell?
Steve Carell. Carell? Something like
Someone
that.
obviously has never watched The Office.
I have. All 9 seasons. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. His name was Michael Scott. How does that indicate about a pronunciation
by Steve
thing?
Carell.
Steve Carell. Okay.
All
right. Well,
story, bro.
Well, good news for everybody. The helmet schedules are finally in.
Yeah.
We got them all. Forgot to grab mine off our printing system here, but we have them now. They're available, and more importantly, you guys saw them on our social media, so you could download it. You could print it off. You could use it in any way, shape, or form to view all the teams that we cover throughout the 2021 8-man football season. And nice shot of James there. Good close-up on the James man as he's doing his research. But
I've got like a 20-second delay, so I don't know.
Yeah, of course you got a 20-second delay. That's how it works, man. You see, even when we move the iPad off camera, he's still playing executive director, producer, even though today's supposed to be
I'm just
chill.
I'm trying to change things up and actually know what I'm talking about.
No, you're absolutely. Yeah, some people would. Some people would say that, but anyways.
Oh my gosh,
we had an unspoken fat boy moment right there.
It's like I felt what he was doing,
right?
Just remember, what's the one thing we're fortunate for saving last night?
The M&Ms.
The M&Ms,
and
yes.
the nachos.
And the nacho. Well, not those nachos. I'd say not those nachos. No, they were good for what they were. It's just you could tell that they could use some heat to them.
Man.
But other than that, it could be worse.
They also ran out of pork right when I walked up to order them.
Yeah, we were going to get the barbecue nachos, which I think they would have made them better. But
yeah, I think with the barbecue, I think it would like melted the cheese as well.
Nothing tops the Philly steak though.
No, still undefeated.
Still undefeated.
What do you mean? Oh my gosh! You say this every time, man.
Why don't you just propose to the Philly cheesesteak?
Okay, I already have. She said no. But anyways, welcome to Extreme Talk. As mentioned earlier, it's time for us to recap all the teams we cover around the 8-man football scene. We start out with the highest scoring game of the weekend combined. Ezekiel Academy on the road to North River Christian. Yep. 84-7. Well, James.
You know what's funny? Even in blowouts, Alabama teams still can't score as much as Tennessee.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm just kidding. I did talk about that.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Here's what's wild about that. North River did not want the clock running for the mercy rule.
They didn't want it?
At any point after the 35 points. They wanted legitimate game clock.
Hey, maybe they just wanted to maybe their coaching staff wanted to fully teach their team a lesson. No, you know this moment, feel this moment, and never let it happen again.
I mean, I get that, but there's also the side of, hey, guess what? There's no chance of winning this game. Let's not hurt guys in a non-conference game because there's the two conferences in Alabama. So this is the second week in a row that they've played a non-conference game. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably.
There's got to be a reason for it.
No,
I
I'm sure there
understand that.
is.
But
no, I'm sure there is.
Geez.
They got a lot of different reasons that come in with that. But it's especially for Ezekiel Academy, runner-up for the national championship last year, and for them to win in such fashion. It's the question remains for Coach Hunter Wilson and company. are they unstoppable going into the weeks ahead? That's a good question to think about. It's something to think about for sure. As we
I
head
guess we'll
into-
find out. Hang on. Well, we won't find out. Well, we will find out over the next 3 weeks.
Yep.
With Russell, Freedom, and Lighthouse coming up.
Man, you took my segue.
That's a
into
pretty
talking
good. That's a
about their-
pretty good stretch there.
You took my segue into
Russell
talking about
like-
their future scheduled games. But
Russell,
all
like
right.
the 4-time defending CFA champion.
Mm-hmm. That's next week. Russell Christian Academy will host Ezekiel Academy, and congratulations to the Knights on the win. And for North River Christian, we don't cover them fully, but
Hang on,
at
I'm
least
pulling
next
up their
week,
schedule
as he always does, pulling
because
up.
I
things last
want to
second.
know. I want to know. who they
It's a
play.
good question to know, anyways. Did you have something, Brandon?
No, I ain't really have anything. I couldn't find what we're looking for.
What were you looking for?
That game.
You're looking
Oh,
on the,
gotcha.
on the film access and everything. I'm sure you'll be able to watch it at some point at the end of the weekend.
The Ezekiel
Mhm.
North River.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, BP1 Sportsnet.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Still got it on there, but yep, at least for North
Shout
River
out.
Christian. Yep, shout out to BP1 Sportsnet and all the people who inspired us to get Sling and have this setup that we
Look,
have
I
now.
mean, this is wild. This North River Christian team, they are out of Tuscaloosa. So there's a CFA and the ACSC.
Mhm.
ACSC has Evangel, Ezekiel, Lighthouse Homeschool, East Central Homeschool, and Southern Christian Patriots.
Mhm.
The North River, they play Lighthouse, Ezekiel, East Central, Evangel, and then Southern Christian. Oh, they might be an independent team. Hang on. Let me check the standings.
Yeah,
They might be an independent. I thought they were in the CFA. No, they are independent, so they can play all 5 of those teams at the same time.
Yep. Not in the not at the same exact time, but in the same season. Yes. Come on, James. use
Potato,
your words.
potato.
That's not.
Tomato, tomato.
I don't think that's how that works. But
That's exactly how it works.
But again, for North River Christian, they got their game next week. But again, congratulations to Ezekiel Academy. The Freedom Cowboys in their second week in a row where they faced a team with Lighthouse in their name, got it done on the road again. 40-6, the Freedom Cowboys got the victory over the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors. And for Coach Collins and company, good start for them to 2-0, especially with the rough season that they had last year.
FYI, our viewers are letting us know that we have an audio-video delay.
Well then.
So,
Well then.
producer.
Well then, in that case, very simple. Audrey, if you can unmute the audio or go to the audio mixer settings on the tablet there and just unmute the source there, and we'll that should get us synced up in just a few moments. But thanks to the viewers for letting us know about that. No audio. No
Yes, audio line in.
Yep, just unmute the
Yeah.
line in. And
Line in.
yep, just unmute the
Yeah.
line in. And
It should be
yep,
muted on there.
Yep, should be synced up almost perfectly now.
I guess we'll find
Perfect.
out.
Perfect.
Okay,
All right,
so Freedom Cowboys Lighthouse Homeschool.
40-6.
Actually, I was getting updates from that one. Shout out to Jason for sending us updates from that game. I wish he was at the Lancaster Providence.
Nobody.
Sure would have been nice to get updates from that game.
We'll talk about that
Jeez.
in a second. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but let's focus on the task at hand.
That's 2 Providence games in a row. Could not get anybody.
But let's focus on
And
the
we have
task
some
at
great
hand.
followers
Mhm.
out of Providence.
We absolutely do. But as mentioned, 2-0 start. Tough season last year, 2020 for the Freedom Cowboys. So 2-0 start, and especially against 2 Lighthouse teams in a row. Good start for Coach Collins
They're
and company.
absolutely rolling.
Mhm.
Pull up the stats here. So they didn't put numbers for Freedom's running backs who scored. So basically the scoring rundown at the end of the first quarter, it was 16-6. And then they got a 2-point conversion, so 24-6. So they got their touchdown in the first quarter off of Ben Hirsch, 72-yard touchdown run. And then after that, it was all Lighthouse, or all Freedom, rather. 16-6, 24-6, 36, 38-6. And then they got a safety at the end, so that's how we got to 40-6. But they were missing some guys. Quarterback was out. A couple guys banged up. So, not a fully healthy team. The good news for Lighthouse, that's, again, like last week with North River, that's not a divisional game this week with Freedom. So, I mean, that definitely works to their advantage. They had a couple guys out with COVID. Their quarterback that started, their second string, was out all week, quarantined or locked up. And so then he that Friday was kind of like with Exel Harding, just stepping out on the field. So a lot of things going against them, but they'll bounce back for sure.
Oh yeah, and especially for the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors that bounce back. But Brendan, you got to see the Freedom Cowboys to start off the year with their game against Lighthouse. How impressed are you with that performance they had on their second game in a row on the road?
Obviously, it shows that their defense is still on point because watching the last game we went to, they were unstoppable defensive wise, and then offense, it seems like they really got it on point this game, and I'm looking forward to watching them go deeper into the season because, as you guys said last year, they didn't have a great season, so I'm expecting them to have a way better season than they're showing out right now.
Yeah, Coach Collins and company, 2-0, rolling so far.
You know what the good news or the bad news?
You can get whatever news you want.
There is no good news. Bad news is they're saying there's even more of a delay.
Well, then,
bigger delay.
That's coming through. They're coming through the studio hub, so not much we can do about it. Unfortunately,
on your back porch, go get your half and half or virgin half or whatever you're into. Hop on your floaty or your pool, whatever you decide to float on, and hop in your pool and just sit there and listen to the show.
Yeah, we know who does that. We absolutely know who does that. But congratulations to the Freedom Cowboys and starting out 2-0. They have their first home game of the season, host their yearly rivalry that's happened for a while against the Christian Community School Colts. And as for the Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors, after starting out, I believe 0-2 or 1-1, they will collide with the Patriots of South Christian, and that will get us into.
They started 1-1.
They did start 1-1.
Oh, somebody said it's good.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So
what'd you do?
Several things. You know what we also did? A few seconds ago. We complained because for whatever reason, the last two games we've done for Providence Christian Academy, we have not gotten any scoring updates, and it seems like have we gotten updates from from Lancaster's games?
No.
Granted, it was their first game of the year.
It was their first game of the year, but
first
still
game
not
of the
a
year,
great precedent to set.
Neither Lancaster nor Providence or anyone from the fan base gave us any updates. So please, we're asking you for the next weeks, both Providence and Lancaster.
Literally,
somebody all you have to do is just send us updates.
This is all you have to do. Oh, here's a 40-yard run. 40-yard touchdown run by number 36. Extra point is good. Boom, done.
Unfortunately, we don't have the Tennessee High School football app for you to report those scores in this season.
I'm working on getting that up and running.
He's doing an update on that at least. But for now, besides the point with score reporting, we got the final 25-20. Lancaster defeated Providence, and we'll get into Grace Baptist and the storyline they have about making a very good chance or a very good run at being the number one seed in the South. But that contest between Lancaster and Providence looking like it could be for the number 2 seed in the South. And Lancaster on the road after Providence was on that high of their first win in program history. 5-point victory for Deuce Bragg and company. And I'm not sure how many stats or film we've gotten provided from either of those schools on there.
Not
so
much.
Only have to speculate on how close it was and how in the fourth quarter the fourth quarter pretty much the score held for the latter half minutes of the game.
Quarter. There was no scoring in the fourth quarter. Nobody's even reported a score on Max Preps. Anyways, it just boggles my mind. But it obviously looked like it was a great back and forth game. Very defensive heavy is what I was told. Let me pull up the one message that I did get. Defensive heavy game. And obviously 25-20, that's not even 50 points scored. Like I said last week, Lancaster's got a bunch of seniors, and they've got Deuce Bragg as a junior. Providence has a bunch of guys that did not get a lot of playing time last year, or had not played a lot before last year, got experience last year, and then now they're able to move on and have a year under their belt. So that's that's something that they're going to start seeing the product of, start seeing the results of.
Now, we haven't seen anything from either Providence or Lancaster thus far in terms of the extreme game of the week. We will at some point during the season, but at least for Providence, after a 48-0 win against Franklin Classical the week prior, it's a good motivational factor for Coach Ferguson and company heading into the rest of the season. But in their first matchup in the South Division of the TSIAA, just a tough loss as they start out 0-1. In division, and hopefully we'll start getting some more film or statistics updates on that, just so we can honor the players who performed well in that game. And
I want to give the players shout-outs.
Mm-hmm. Can't do that unless we get statistics.
100%.
But at least for now, congratulations to Coach Bragg and company at Lancaster Christian. They will have their first home game of the year where they host the Lighthouse Christian School Lions, the return of Coach Sean Bell to Lancaster, and we'll talk about that during our previews later in the show. But Providence starts out the year 1-1, and their next game will be on the road at Zion at Christian Academy for a South Division matchup. But in terms of the other teams we cover, we now go to the Southern Prep Fighting Rangers. Win on the road, tough loss to Cornerstone, 20-0 in an 11-man game. So James, you're our Southern Prep expert. You had a lot of confidence. You had a lot of confidence going into Coach Bell and everything. On paper, it looks like a tough loss, but you're going to break down for us why it isn't as tough as it seems.
So, from what I can tell, Cornerstone has not had the greatest history the last couple of years, and obviously it's a 20-0, so it's not a blowout. It's like the Heat CCS game. It's enough of a game to kind of wake you up, but not to beat you down. It doesn't seem like. So I'm still getting some information about that game as well. But yeah, I mean it's a little bump in the road for Southern Prep, obviously. Not a divisional game though. None of them are divisional games because they're an independent team. But they got a tough stretch the next few weeks. So we'll see how it pans out for them.
Yeah, so that's Southern Prep, tough stretch going for the Fighting Rangers going forward. But at least for now, they start out the season 0-1. Then the following week on Thursday, they have another 11-man game against the Springwood Wildcats. And of course, we don't cover Cornerstone. We don't cover Meadowview either. But both of those teams,
to be fair, as a callback. Which week did they play? Oh, they don't play Meadowview till later on in the season. I don't think. Is it the same team? Yeah, same team. Same team Evangel whooped up on.
Mm-hmm. And at least for Cornerstone Christian, they start out the season 1-0, and they will travel the next week. They will travel next weekend to face off against Banks Academy in Birmingham.
Oh, look at you doing homework.
You're getting it done so we're not having those awkward pauses of you searching it up. But, all right, next up, Tim Smith and company looking as dominant as ever. A shutout win against Meadowview Christian, 56-0. And, James, you're pretty good at predictions. You're pretty well in those kind of things. You continue to have a good track record with Evangel, and you can never really bet against Evangel.
Homeboy, it's easy with Evangel.
Yeah, it's easy to make the decision on that. But
it's a win-win. If you pick them, it's like, okay, cool. They won, cool. If you lose, it's like, wow, that must have really been an upset.
You're absolutely right. And if you look on Max Preps, I believe they posted everything. You look at the box score on it for Evangel. They had some pretty good statistics up there as I actually get logged into my Max Preps account here because they make it so that you cannot view the statistics just in a general sense. But here we go.
Did you log into ours?
I got a separate account, but anyway.
Oh, look at you.
Anyways,
special.
Anyways, look at the not that much passing for Evangel. Eli Whitfield, 3 completions out of 9 attempts for 33 yards. had a passing touchdown, and it was more a rush-heavy game. Tyler Wilson had a game, 8 carries for 114 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. They also gave it to Hunter Adkins close to the end zone for 2 touchdowns. He only carried it for 22 yards, but the workload very much on rushing was more split, and that's part of the offensive strategy for the Evangel Lightning is that they love to be ground heavy.
Hey, you're not looking at by player, right? Are you looking at by player?
I'm looking at the box
score.
You're
looking at the box
player.
score. Okay, all right. You're good. You're good. Hey, how about Tyler Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
114 yards, 8 carries. Pretty much any time he carried the ball, he'd get you a guaranteed first down and a half.
Guaranteed first down, right. And Meadowview has struggled too. Some of the teams down in Alabama have been trying to get them to move to 8. Because if you let me pull them up. They do have a roster, I believe, on Max Preps.
While he's pulling that up, also to highlight some of the defensive stars.
Never mind.
Also to highlight some of the defensive stars for Evangel during that game. Caden Jones, the junior, had five assisted tackles. Also had 3 solo tackles from Hunter Adkins, 2 from Harris Black, and as well from Hayden Black. So a lot of strong defensive moves for the Evangel Lightning, and Zach Chandler with a sack on the game as well. And total of 3 interceptions, won by 3 separate players.
Spreading the love
for the Evangel Lightning.
3 forced fumbles total.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. So congratulations to the Evangel Lightning with their victory. They start out the season 2-0, and then they have their second home game of the year where they host. This is going to be where I'm trying to remember the expression about not rocking a hard place. Well, that one works too. I'm thinking of like a freight train hits something, or there's some similar analogy.
Unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Yeah. Unstoppable force meets an immovable
Shout
object.
out to the homeschooler.
And we'll get into which is which, but it is the Grace Baptist Academy Golden Eagles traveling down to Evangel. Good game to pick up for their first year in 8-man football as well.
Oh, for sure. And how about Friday night? The fact that you could watch our broadcast, you could watch the Evangel game. Evangel started a broadcast this year. Of course, Ezekiel's games are always broadcast. And you could literally have 3 games going on at the same time.
You got the tri-box.
And now, shout out. Am I looking here or here?
You're looking at that camera. That camera right there.
Hey, shout out Missouri 8-man football. They have a Twitter. They have a Twitter and an Instagram, and they now have a YouTube channel. And right now on their YouTube channel is footage from the jamboree they just had up there. They start a little bit later than Tennessee and Alabama. So, and I know they're not Southern. Missouri's not Southern, but. You could have they're going to start doing games on Friday night, so you could have four games going on at the same time.
I love how we went through where each of the cameras are going to be prior to, and you're like, which camera am I looking
at?
He's camera nervous.
I know
He's still camera
I know
nervous.
There's 2 here. I don't know that I could get on this one.
Probably not.
That one's obviously me.
Even though I'm big enough.
Well,
I'm literally surprised it's not catching a piece of me.
Well, again, congratulations to Evangel. They host the Grace Baptist Academy Golden Eagles, and as for Meadowview Christian, they start out the season 0-1, and they have their first home game, their second home game of the year against Lowndes Academy from Lowndes-Borough. All right, it gets us into the game that was right down the street. As you are laughing at probably something.
I'm looking at myself on the camera, and I look like the love child of Fat Thor and Michelin Man.
Well,
oh wow!
I think we need a roast of James Shannon, is what he's saying here. But all right,
hey, bring it on.
All right, the game that we were not at, that was just down down Bell Road from us, the first divisional matchup for the TSI AA entirely. The South Haven Christian School Patriots traveled after their victory against Zion Christian. They went down to Antioch, which is where we were the week before. 28-18, a very much closer score, Brendan, than we saw the week prior with that game against Freedom. You could tell that Lighthouse, at least, they were putting in the work in practice. They started correcting some things, but unfortunately starting out their in-division record at 0-1. But that's also a credit to the tight ship that Coach Sawyers runs with the rest of his players and everything. But at least for Lighthouse, not as bad of a loss to have looked at compared to their Freedom game, but for South Haven they got the win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Lighthouse was able to keep their quarterback healthy as well
Mhm.
this game because I feel like that was the big problem because watching him at the end of the Freedom game, he was putting up the numbers. He was doing what he needed to do to get their team back on schedule. But South Haven Christian, man, they're a tough beat. They're a
Mhm.
tough team to beat. So I believe probably this went back and forth until South Haven figured out what they
So
need to do.
so it let's see.
Speak to us, so white.
16 about halfway through the second quarter it was 16-12 South Haven. They both scored before halftime, so it was 22-18 at the half, as well as at the end of the third, and then South Haven put a touchdown, scored a touchdown there in the
Mhm.
fourth quarter to make it 28-18, the 2018 final. Um, the Lighthouse does have stats up. Let me see if they have stats for this game.
Yeah, Lighthouse has stats up for that game. South Haven has not posted any stats on there, but
That's very interesting.
yeah, nothing on Max Preps at least. But yeah, it was eight in the first quarter, 6 in the second quarter, then eight scored by Lighthouse in the third quarter. Lighthouse did not score a single point in the fourth. So, the question is, where did South Haven score throughout the rest of the
Who
game? As you
scored for
mentioned,
South Haven?
that's a great question too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder who got the touchdowns there, but at least with that, again, as I mentioned, for Coach Bell and company, they already had a quick turnaround for their first divisional matchup, and they were already expecting to play a game against Ezel Harding. They were already expecting to play that game in place of where they played Freedom, so
Right.
it's for them to bounce back, even if it was a 10-point loss, for them to bounce back from that essentially blowout loss against the Freedom Cowboys, for them to bounce back and to be able to perform the way they did, especially at home, not too bad for Coach Bell and company.
No, it's a great sign, of how he's changed the culture and moved stuff around, and gotten people to buy. I mean, he's got basketball players out there. He's got soccer players out there. Everyone is really buying into the mindset that he's bringing to that team, which is what they've needed for a long time. And absolutely no shade to Coach Hollis at all.
Mm-hmm.
Love him to death. He's still on board the coaching staff, so obviously, he brings a lot to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But I would even go further back than Coach Hollis, before Coach Hollis, as to when the culture started to decline a little bit. Because it was pretty strong in 2014 when they played for the state title.
Yep.
And 15 when they were in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, and it shifted from there.
But then on the other side for South Haven, they just keep rolling, man.
Yeah.
I know that they love that they've already won as many games as I predicted them to win all year. So.
Yeah, Coach Sawyers wouldn't let you hear the end of that.
Absolutely
the week
love
before.
that fact.
Yeah, Coach. It's again coaches who get it. And there were some other coaches who got it in our Friday night extreme game of the week. Grace Baptist, I think it's safe to say it's not a fluke on their 106-0 victory against the Bradley Knights. 54-6, they got the victory done against Ezel Harding. But what I will say, what are you putting your hand up for?
Just found out Ben Sorto scored 3 times Friday night.
Okay, Ben Sorto got three touchdowns. Okay, good. That's why he was the extreme player of the game when they had their contest against the Zion Eagles at home. But anyways, Grace Baptist, Ezel Harding. We already knew about the situation going in. Ezel Harding did not have any practice leading up to the game at all due to quarantining, and because of that, it really did show on Friday night, and it just shows how tough it is with the environment and the landscape of everything, how everything has changed with coronavirus. In how there's still a chance of people having to quarantine. It's still a chance that your game could be shut down there. So for Ezel Harding, they managed to at least prevent it from being a complete shutout, and at home when they were honoring the 2001 state champions as well. It's a tough loss for Ezel Harding, but fortunately for them, it is not an in-division matchup. That's the biggest factor that they could take into it. But what impressed you most about Grace Baptist on Friday night?
Man, what impressed me most about Great Baptist is they really put my foot in my mouth because they came out and they straight up balled. They came out with that same energy I guess they kept last week. But, You know,
It was
I
that
kind of
big. It was that big energy.
I kind of got to go with the what if and kind of like wonder if Ezel Harding had that practice, how much would it change? Because there was moments where Ezel Harding was trying to make a nice little push, but of course Grace Baptist defense looked phenomenal. Like
I think it was also funny how we were getting towards the end of the game, and Grace
Man.
Baptist coaching staff, they were on the side. They said, hey, what about swallowing that humble pie, huh?
Look,
That
coach,
was so great.
I will eat my humble pie, soup, whatever y'all need me to do. Next time I see you guys, bring me some soup.
So to straighten the record, I did predict Ezel Harding on that one. I think you said I picked Grace. I picked Ezel Harding.
I thought you picked Grace.
No.
Oh, it wasn't the other way. I thought,
I know
well,
I picked Ezel Harding because I was.
yeah,
doing
you
my
thought
thing.
Grace Baptist
I
were
thought
going to
you
get some
picked-
humble
no,
pie.
We both picked Ezel Harding.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore you picked Grace.
Who's telling you that? Oh, you're looking
I'm
at your
literally
preseason predictions.
looking
You-
where I wrote them all
That's
out.
right, preseason.
Preseason. Here's the
Yes.
proof that I do not change them week to week.
Yeah. Well, that didn't really change anything because people look. That's also a digital note. That doesn't really change anything on that because you could change it at any second. Come on, man. But
That's fair.
Grace Baptist, what impressed you most about Grace Baptist in Friday night's contest?
Man, the fact that they ran everything so efficiently. I mean, it's so convoluted because you don't know whether it's a Ezel Harding was out for a week, and this is not to take anything away from Grace.
Right.
Grace came out, they balled. Cooper Connect had an unbelievable night.
Mm-hmm.
That RPO killed him bad.
It was
Yeah.
wild, dude. I mean, it was he basically. It was almost like he had him on a string. He just dropped him over
yeah.
here, and boom, just gone. I bet you if we had that end zone camera like on the field goal post, that'd have been a dope view to just see him running towards it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, even
That
from
would've
like
been
the
cool.
camera view from me, I kind of even still was like watching him get the fake the
Right,
ball, and it was
right.
kind of like, does the guy have the ball or does he keep the ball?
Yeah,
And
it
before
was
we even know
wild.
it, he's already in the end zone.
right.
And you hate that for Ezel Harding, the situation that they were put in. You almost wish the game could have gotten moved to Saturday to give them at least Friday night to practice.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody likes that kind of a situation.
No. No, it's tough. But at the end of the day, the game was played. What is said is done. But
Like you said, it's not a divisional.
yeah, and it's not
So
divisional.
That does help.
So congratulations to Grace Baptist. The Golden Eagles are 2-0 to start out the year. They travel down to Montevallo, Alabama to collide with the Evangel Christian School Lightning. And as for Ezel Harding, while they start out their season 0-1, their first in-division matchup comes up this Friday where they travel to Franklin to collide with the Falcons. As for the game that we were not at on Saturday night, the Tennessee Heat, even with the flooding and the backup delays on Interstate 40 and all that, they got down to Jackson. They got to collide with the now independent team, the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights. 38-16, the final score on that contest. And for the Tennessee Heat, just still looks like they're firing on all cylinders. And even with, to my knowledge, of course, Carter Sutton being out for the year, they're still got a lot of reloaded
He's not
things.
out for the year.
Close to it.
They're resting him for a few weeks, giving him ample time to heal up. Because if they do decide to make a run at nationals, that's the guy you want at nationals.
Mm-hmm.
So. They're obviously letting him heal up. They started out the game a little bit slower. Sacred Heart was able to kind of jump up on it just because of the whole travel situation. I mean, they had kids showing up, 15 minutes after the game started. Just couldn't help it. But as the game got it going and got rolling on, it was kind of wild. It was 38-16 at halftime. I believe it was 38-16 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And Sacred Heart requested the running clock at 22 points.
22
so
point
that's
lead.
wild.
Okay. So they just continue to have it run down there.
Halftime, yeah, halftime it was 38-16. So then they used the running clock second half.
That's interesting. I know that last year when we were at their senior night game, they had the running clock when it wasn't that high of a score when they collided with Bowling Green. But
So this game started at 3:16, I believe. Yeah, 3:16. Sacred Heart actually scored first. They got a safety, and then they scored a touchdown.
I think of course they got some.
And then the Heat tied it up 8-8. Sacred Heart jumped out 16-8, and then from there it was all Heat. So the game started at 3:15. Game was over at 5:15. So a 2-hour game.
2-hour game. Yeah, I get it. That was about the same as our game with Grace Baptist. It was about 2 hours in length.
Close. It was pretty close.
About that. It was down 30 minutes from the average on there, but for the Tennessee Heat, congratulations! They have victory. They start the season 1-1, first victory of 2021, and then they have an 11-man game on Saturday against Red Bowling Springs.
I was gonna say it.
And then for the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights, they take a loss to start out at 0-1, and then they collide with a team that James is now getting fond of because of the history that's about to happen with Sacred Heart facing off against Abundant Life Christian Academy.
What?
Yeah, it's the history with it. Isn't that the team that's based out of
They're out of
Missouri?
They're out of Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's
These
right.
two have never played.
Mm-hmm. And it's the first time that an 8-man team from Arkansas has played an 8-man team from Tennessee.
No, that happened
close to it
a couple times with like Central Baptist, Macon Road, I believe, Memphis Nighthawks. Basically, West Tennessee has interacted with Arkansas before.
Well, it's a rarity, so we'll see it for the first time in many years.
The Heat are playing Red Bowling Springs.
Oh, you just wanted to say it because of the accent, man.
Put the accent on it.
Man,
Put
all
some
right.
respect on it.
And the game that we were at last night, tied 6-6 and suspended until further notice, with 6 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Almost had some cyclones coming over to Columbia that were about, I think, southeast 15 miles or something like that. The Mother Nature was not merciful last night on that field at all. We of course left the broadcast on for weather delay, and then we got everything packed up once they officially called off the game.
I think
and
we
such.
added about an hour and a half weather delay.
Something like that.
Before they finally called it.
Something like that, but you hate it as well because it was a competitive game. It was really close getting to that. It was going to be a really great second half.
You had a pick six for Classical, and then Zion got the big touchdown pass from Kaiser to Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was shaping up to be a really good game.
Yeah,
just a shame.
Yeah, and another tidbit that was brought up to us. That's another non-40-yard width field for second one we've seen on the year so far. And
are you sure?
I don't think it was a 40-yard width.
50.
Yeah, it was a 50-yard width.
50.
It was 40.
No, it was 50.
Did you see how much space was on the sidelines? It was 40.
You sure?
100%.
Sure
it was about the same amount of space as Esau Harding had Friday night.
Okay. It looked like it
if you see the sidelines, if you could literally put half the field on what they have for the sidelines, they've shrunk it down. It's kind of a weird look. Like when you look at CCS and the Heat, where their fields are designed to be 40, and then you go to Esau Harding or Zion, and it's designed to be 100, and they shrink it down. It's very noticeable, the difference.
Well, it was 100 yards or about 120.
It was 100 from goal line to goal line, and then they shrunk it to 40.
Yep.
So which the length doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that didn't factor in. It's such only one team we've seen thus far that has the is it 53? I believe.
Yeah, 53.
Yeah, 53.
53 and a half.
Like but we haven't heard any word yet on if they're going to resume the game. They're working on it on their schedules. There are some tentative dates in place, but no official announcement on that yet.
We should ask.
Well, yeah, it's probably the right time to ask. So we want to welcome in with our new equipment and especially with Extreme Talk, the first time we have a coach in studio and on camera this time. So we now welcome the head coach for the Franklin Classical School Knights as it's going to be swapped over to Coach Isaiah Austin. And Coach, welcome in to Extreme Talk, and congratulations! You're the first video coach. How does it feel?
Feels good.
Oh, hang on.
It should be. Give us one more thing.
Testing.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Feels good to be here. I do have a face for radio, but we'll see how it goes.
I can't tell you how many people among this table have been told that over and over and
You have
over
a
again.
you have a face for being on a dark football field.
Well, I could say it about myself, James, but you don't get to say it.
What?
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 What just happened?
I have a face for like not even radio.
You got any further add on to that, or is
I
this?
don't know how to add on to that.
Gosh,
I don't know how to add on to that.
gosh.
All
Well-
love, dude. All love.
Well, 2018, you were sitting at the
better-
same table analyzing picks week by week, and now you're analyzing plays week by week. So, how has that transition been for you going from the media into a head coaching position?
I think it smoothed it out a lot, especially just being around the 8-man game. Just being able to diagnose pretty much every game of every year for those couple of years that we were full-time here. Just being able to watch tons of film, seeing what does work, what doesn't work, and also getting connections with other coaches has made it a lot easier just to communicate and schedule things with people. So it really helped out a lot.
Now, of course, you have the title of the youngest head coach in conference history, and with that, you also have the difficult task of balancing a head coaching job as well as balancing a business degree, because you're now in your senior year going to that. How difficult has it been to balance collegiate work alongside leading a high school program?
It's challenging, but I will say my GPA has gone up since I've been coaching. It just puts more discipline in your schedule. Going to school in the mornings and then coming back down to Franklin, coaching and then meeting afterwards. You really, really have to be schedule oriented with that. And in that degree, it almost makes it easier to schedule your time because you don't have a wide open schedule. You're just trying to, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, just having to realign that and everything. And one of the difficult things as well when you're a new head coach, you have to – Coach Bell talked about it prior to last week's game, is you have to build a culture. You have to try and build it up and sell people on your vision to try and build a winning team. What is that – how difficult has that been for you, especially during the pandemic last year, trying to build those relationships and build up this winning culture at Classical?
Well, it's tough. I mean, we talk about trying to build a family, and it's tough to have a family when you only see each other 10 hours a week, and especially with COVID, doing a lot of virtual stuff. So in that aspect, we've just put a real emphasis on communication outside of practice. If a coach or a player sends something in our chat or needs to talk about something, everybody else is expected to respond to it and acknowledge that they've heard it. Even right now, I was texting some of the players because we just have to have that constant communication to help build that culture and build that family moving forward.
Yeah, and hopefully they're watching you now and supporting you from afar. But 2021, obviously very different. You're able to have full contact practices, things like that, and you've also had 2 game reps to get in and such. What are some of your players that you'd like to highlight and who have been standout leaders for your team that you're excited to see how they perform going into the rest of the season?
Well, one guy that comes to mind, he just won our Player of the Week. Even though the game was short, but had 6 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and a pick 6 last night. Will Britton, he's really stepped into a big role this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, he's always been an excellent football player, but first year in the system, learning it, getting some backup reps. This year was his year to show out, and he's done that and more. And I only expect better things out of him moving forward. And then another guy that comes to mind is Charles Bennett, another guy that joined the system last year and has worked his way up. Just a menace on the defensive line, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do this season.
Now, there's some stuff you could have potentially learned from the first 2 quarters, first quarter and a half you played against Zion, but I'm interested to know it's tough to be in a complete shutout loss, to be on the other side of that. And you guys had that against Providence Christian. As you know, LeBron Ferguson and company, he also mentioned every team he played last year, there's a time to beat us. It's now. So what are the things you talked to your guys about in practice and worked on specifically to try and improve from that shutout loss that was down in Murfreesboro?
Well, I'll first of all give credit to PCA because they came out ready to play that game. I don't know if it was nerves or just needing more reps in games. We started at 16 positions, offense and defense. We have 7 freshmen starting. And as much as you need to really get them going in those positions, a period of time for them to start being successful. They are moving so quickly in their development because they're so invested. I think that's why you saw such a switch from week to week. Got to clean up those penalties. But besides that, defensively, very, very, very strong this week. They're adapting quickly. It is really, really interesting to see a young group like we have being so invested in success and being better as a team. And we see it every single day at practice. So shout out to those guys.
Now, I know we talked a little bit about it right when the conference announced it, but this is the second time in the league's history that they've moved the Franklin teams to separate divisions. And you guys were moved up to the North Division alongside Ezel Harding and Christian Community, as well as South Haven and Lighthouse. And you've faced off against some of those teams in the past, and you know some of the relationships from them. But I'm interested to know your updated thoughts, or at least more relevant thoughts for those of the viewers who don't know, about your thoughts on the division restructure and the challenges you and the Classical Knights have being in the North Division instead of the South.
Yeah, I think, the one challenge that comes to mind is we owe away games to every single team in the division. So we got a pretty away schedule. First 5 games are away this year. Now, granted, that will flip next year, which I'm excited about.
Yep.
Right.
But, we get a lot of familiar faces in the division, obviously, with Ezel Harding. South Haven, though, I don't know if you know this or not, but we have never played them in our school's history. This Friday will be our first matchup with them.
That'll be a first-time match. I'm surprised James didn't mention anything about it. You're usually pretty good on those first-time matchup situations.
Hang on.
Unless there was a game 20 years ago that I don't know about. I think
Maybe 20 years ago. While he's looking that up, though, I'm interested as well because you mentioned the flip for home games. Franklin Classical has a new home field, potentially at least in the works. But talk about especially the home environment of Franklin Classical games, about how you feel those are different than most of the other games you've been to around the 8-man scene.
I would say not super different. We want to try to embody the school's culture in our football games. That we tailgate before games. We do the tunnel runouts just like everybody else. We want to have a environment where I'm kind of trying to explain what I'm saying, like an environment that embodies the school essentially, and the way that we conduct ourselves on the sideline as a team, and the energy that we play with, and the enthusiasm for the players.
And you mentioned that you owe a lot of teams road games this year, and it starts out for the division. You've got your first matchup for your North team against the South Haven Christian School Patriots, and first matchup against Coach Sawyers and company, especially the team that was second place last year in the conference in the state championship. So, what expectations do you have for your players going into that matchup, and what corrections are you making from this last weekend's quarter and a half matchup against Zion to try and prepare and get your first win in division?
Yeah, I would say corrections-wise, we need to limit the penalties. We saw a lot of that last week. 2 weeks ago when we played PCA, we had quite a bit of discipline issues that were corrected throughout the week, but the penalties were not a problem that week, and the penalties became a problem this week. We got to limit the penalties. But as far as a good thing that I saw yesterday, that really, really was encouraging was the nastiness and the grittiness of last night's game. You're going to get some guys who are going to embrace that. You're going to get some guys who are going to pull away from it and not want anything to do with it. And I think our guys stepped up to the plate and really, really stepped up to it. And that makes me encouraged moving forward that our guys will not be the ones to back down. And they know we're playing against a very solid program this Friday, and I expect that they'll continue to take that step.
James, did you find out about that matchup?
Yeah, not quite 20 years, but close. 2013 was the last time y'all played.
2013, okay.
2013, okay.
All right, so second-time matchup?
And the team in 2013, which I'm trying to think who would have been on that team.
It was the year that was cut short because of injuries.
Was it really?
It was
okay. So that
Coach Tom Coughlin's first season.
So that would explain the 48-12 loss.
Yes.
Okay.
So only the second time that you'll face off against South Haven. Now, last few weeks, I'll be honest, just straight up forgot about this, but we give the coaches interviews an opportunity to give their hot takes or any things they want to get off of their mind or any stuff they want to say. So the floor is yours. Any hot takes and any coach takes,
Oh man,
anything like
I
that?
ought to keep my mouth shut.
What happened to your game last year before you do the hot takes? Because y'all were supposed to play South Haven last year.
Oh, it was coronavirus related.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, the reschedule.
I was thinking, I was like, I know there's one time they were supposed to play.
Yeah.
And it was last year, and then okay. All right.
Yeah, they rescheduled, but anything coaching wise, hot takes, anything along those lines.
I didn't come in with a hot take, and if I try to come up with one organically, I'm going to get myself in trouble. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Fair,
He knows what to do.
fair enough. He makes the right decision. Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. I know it's not too much of a drive for you over here to the studio, but excited to see how you guys are going to perform against South Haven and throughout the rest of the season. So thanks for coming on, Coach Austin.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, bub.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man,
Yeah,
as
appreciate
always.
you.
Always. Much love.
That is Coach Isaiah Austin of the Franklin Classical School Knights as they go forward in the season, going up against the South Haven Christian School Patriots. And another one of those great interviews out of the many great interviews we have on the
Always.
show.
Well,
Yeah.
we kind of bred being able to give a good interview.
I hope so.
So
I hope so. That's the important thing. But all right,
Definitely.
all right. Well, James, you got anything you want? You got anything you want to talk about before we get into previewing Week 3 of the regular season?
no, not really.
Nothing specifically you could think of.
No, we covered it earlier. Just no updates.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of frustrating.
Can we play the what if and see who you think would have won that game? Watching that game a little bit to halftime.
Yeah. Who would have won Zion Classical?
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Classical. They really impressed me against Zion. First time watching them.
See, and I know Classical had the pick six. I get that. But I feel like overall that was one mistake. That wasn't a team problem. It wasn't an offense problem. Because then they turned around and threw for a touchdown. Kaiser to Brown. So I feel like Zion would have ended up outscoring them. Because you got to remember, too, Classical had only run 6 offensive plays to that point. And Zion had run several more. So
I think Coach would have had it all figured out, though, what he needed to do, especially fixing the penalties.
that's possible. That's possible for sure.
So you gonna make a pick, or are we gonna go on to our actual picks?
I would have taken Zion.
You would have taken Zion. You would have taken Classical. All right. Now, one of many split decisions that we have among you two with game picks. By the way,
As he gains more knowledge.
right. And by the way, I will just say, I personally understand why Coach Ateka did it, but you're not 2-1 and you're extreme player of the game picks. I know exactly why he did it because Bo Swanson he had a good game. It's just you were going by the one who was scoring the most and doing the most production on the field.
I was about to say he had a lot of production.
Yeah,
too,
but no. Bo absolutely just deserved it. Don't get me wrong on that.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just you were predicting, and I was like, I get why Coach Ateka did it, but it's like he could have helped Brendan with 3-0 and all that.
But honestly, a lineman deserves a lot of love half the time because
you're speaking James's language right now with that too.
Me being a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I play defensive line. He play offensive line, and usually the offensive lineman doesn't get as much credit as they should because without them,
see, I played 8-man, so I played offense and defense.
He played both lines.
I played both of them. I preferred defensive line.
yeah.
But
Why did you prefer defensive line? Just curious. I'm the
because you
same
could
way.
just go full speed. There
Yeah.
was some well, I take that back. So I was a second string bench warmer, so they didn't focus on a lot of strategy when we got in. It was here's
The bench was
playing
nice
time.
and warm.
And that's what I love the guy who's my head coach. I love my old head coach. What?
The bench. I said the bench was nice and warm.
We had a huge bench warmer cheering section. I can think of at least 2 or 3 games. I had freaking
section.
They had the sections at the school, right? The different individual bleachers like they have
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And every people, friends, family, whatever. At least 1, maybe 2 games. Maybe one of the games on my birthday. The whole section was packed out with just people for me, and I rode the side. I got playing time. Yeah, it was my birthday and it was senior night. It was very special.
You know what I also realized? When we were at CCS for the Jamboree, they still haven't painted their state championship on the field or their national championships on the side of the concrete. They haven't painted 2018 state champions or 2017 national champions.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't painted those years on there yet. I'm surprised they haven't. So CCS should probably do that at some point. I'm sure they will. I don't know when, but it'll be at some point. All right, week 2 that officially we turn the page now to week 3 of the 8-man football season. Now that you can officially do that, I don't have my copy in front of me right now, but as we go forward, follow along on your helmet schedules from top to bottom. Or you know what? Go ahead, James. We need. You know what we need? Since I'm handling the camera now, I'm going to start a counter of how many times James interrupts me during the show. I'm going to start a counter of that.
Camera?
So I said computer.
Oh.
See, you see what he does to me? See what this man does? All right, what do you got,
okay,
James?
So totally non-football related.
Oh,
Have y'all watched WandaVision?
Yes.
No, I have not.
Yes? Okay.
Huge Marvel
I have
fan.
not
Do
yet.
you remember the first episode where they're trying to remember what, there's a calendar with a heart
Mm-hmm.
and the dates on there, and so they're trying to figure out what it means. Okay. So there's a theory, because Comic-Con is this week.
Okay.
There's a theory that they're going to release the No Way Home trailer, which has not been released yet. In WandaVision, the date on that calendar is August 23rd. So people are saying, did WandaVision predict when they were going to release?
Or did they
The
purposefully
Spider-Man.
put that date in there so that people could
Listen, troll. Just said at the end of the day.
It's called the Easter eggs. It's just processing. All right.
I'm just saying, it's very. I'm
That'd be
looking
very-
forward to that.
Week number 3.
It wouldn't be the first time Marvel did something like that.
Week number 3 of the 8-man football season is about to get underway, and the last weekend of August. Can you believe we're going to be 8 months done with 2021? This
My
year's gone
body
by
does.
fast. This year has gone by
Gone through
fast.
4 months of this dadgum stupid heat.
No, yeah, yeah. We did anytime with the last 2 games, we've been drenched in sweat. It has not been.
I
fun.
look like I stepped out the shower. All right,
It has not been fun.
like I stepped in with my clothes on. I go to wipe my face. There's not a dry spot on my shirt. You can carry a towel. Become that dude.
Or use the
that's-
dude wipes. Yeah, or use the dude wipes that you
They're already
keep.
wet. You
Yeah,
gotta-
that's the
you gotta
point.
get something
Moist
dry.
towelettes. You just.
If I
some-
wanted something moist to wipe my face, I'd wipe it in my shirt that's already soaked.
But then you'd be wiping your shirt back off with. If it's already soaked, you'd be wiping sweat back onto your face. With the moist towelettes, you're at least having some disinfectant. You're getting all the sweat
Who
off
cares
your
about
face.
disinfectant?
Well, I
Clearly,
mean,
you do because you use the dude wipes.
And if you
That's
want to
not-
keep
that's
your
not why I
face
use them.
clear, I mean, don't
not
get
why I
no
use
mud
Yeah.
or anything.
That's not
into
why I
it.
use them. Hey, dude. By the way,
Oh no,
if you
no,
want a
not
sponsor,
again, not again.
if you want a sponsor, come on.
I don't know how that would.
I like it.
Here's
I
my
like
top
it.
3. Here's my top 3 sponsor requests. Okay, top 3 I want to be sponsored by.
Go ahead.
Under Armour.
Realistic requests.
Okay, Under Armour we do want as a sponsor, but
Under
okay,
Armour
on
would
Ja-
be dope.
on
but that's
James'
not-
list, Bang
that's not
energy
only-
drinks.
Bang,
So dude wipes now.
dude wipes.
And what's your third one? Can't remember.
Oh well, I can't really.
You could have said Under Armour and gone with that.
Yeah, we'll go with Under Armour because the
Oh,
other one I
man.
can't really be sponsored by.
Then I would have to change my shoes.
All right. Week 3 of the 8-man football season is about to get underway in the final weekend of August. If you have your helmet schedules, follow along on them. From top to bottom, we start out with the Christian Community School Colts.
It absolutely makes your day to be able to say that, doesn't it?
It makes my day to be able to continue on with the show. CCS at the Freedom Cowboys. A matchup that happens every week between Freedom every year, once a season between
Is it?
Freedom Cowboys and the Christian Community School Colts. It's been a pretty good rivalry anytime they faced off against each other. So now we see for Christian Community, they
Is it
Coach
just over
Slander's
here?
company.
Is it just over here?
I'm trying to go through a
The
prediction.
shade
Uh,
that you just threw on me. It was a good burn. Just pound it out right here.
Christian Community
Pound
and
it
the
out right
Freedom
here.
Cowboys face off against each other this
Pound
week.
it out.
Oh my gosh.
All you had to do was pound it out, Spence. You wouldn't have lost your iPad.
A little nonsense now and then reflected by the wisest men. There's another reference from the movie you were referencing earlier. The Colts collide with the Freedom Cowboys. If I could continue on with this bit. No, it's All right. If I could continue on with this, Coach Flanders and company, they traveled down to Huntsville, Alabama, to collide with Coach Collins and company. For Christian Community, they had a bye week. They had some rest. They started out the season 1-0 against the Tennessee Heat, and now they're having a long travel from White House down to Huntsville. I think it's about 3 hours. It's about a 3-hour drive from Christian Community down to Huntsville, something like that.
Yeah.
About 3 hours.
Yeah.
Straight down 65, which, as James always said, the only good thing to come out of Alabama.
A long trip.
Long travel. You could say either of those, but
Either way.
no. But Coach Flanders' company, they've had a week of rest. They've been able to regroup, but the question is it enough for them to stop the 2-0 Freedom Cowboys, who have been on a roll the last several weeks? You can already see Brendan shaking his head no. We forgot to do this the last few weeks, James.
What's that?
The rock, paper, scissors for who does the first pick in each of the picks. So I don't know if you want to resume that tradition or if you want me to just pick random people.
No, I'll give
All
it
right.
to the home team. This is his house.
Well, if Zachary won, he would always defer last year anyway.
Yeah.
So
It didn't really matter.
Yeah.
That's actually, Audrey, that's perfect timing.
yeah, perfect
'Cause
timing
we're
for him
about
to come back.
We're about to need
The-
to go back face to face.
The predictions here, and
Look at the
maybe
timing.
we can actually get a shot of Brendan's face. Maybe the camera's
I was
angled
trying
on
to
him
get a
enough
shot to
can
give a
see
shout out
something
to
like
our
that, but
producer.
There he is. There's Brendan Daniel. All right. We'll start. You said
the
you give it to the
best-looking
home
guy
team.
here.
We start with James Shannon. Christian Community travels down to Huntsville, Alabama. Don't forget where to look at the camera, and don't forget to put your phone down for this one after you look at your predictions. So, Christian Community, Freedom Cowboys. Freedom's 2-0. CCS is 1-0. Who's going out of this game undefeated through the first 3 weeks of the season?
Oh, listen, man. Listen. Okay. Listen, Linda. This backfield for Freedom has just tore through two teams with no mercy at all. CCS does not stand a chance. Freedom all day.
All right, you got Freedom all day. Brendan, who you got?
You already know Freedom all day, boy. Those running backs are gonna run straight over those community boys. So.
Unanimous decision for the Freedom Cowboys. Ezekiel Academy travels to face off against the CFA Conference champions from last year, Russell Christian Academy. And is it just last year? I'm trying to remember. Is it last year, or is it 2-time or 3-time conference champions for Russell?
I believe it's 3-time.
Yeah, it's three-time or something like that. But Coach Wilson starting out the season 1-0, and for Russell Christian, should probably have the stats up in front of me on that. But I believe Russell Christian either has their first game this week or
No, they played their first game last week. They played Tuscaloosa Christian and won that game.
All right, so both teams starting out 1-0. All right, Brendan, we'll go with you on this one. Who's going to come out of that game undefeated?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to just throw it in there for this one and wait.
You're wanting to hear what James has to say before he has to. All right, James.
No, it's not even James. It's just, just the 1-0 teams is kind of hard to really pick because it's kind of just this could be like an injury thing or this could be a COVID thing or just
I'll give you this. Russell Christian, 34-0 victory over Tuscaloosa Christian last week. And then Ezekiel, obviously, their score last week, 84-7. Want to base it off of that or you want to wait a few more seconds?
I'll run with Ezekiel.
All right, he's got the Ezekiel Academy Knights taking the victory. James, who you got
I
this
actually
week?
disagree with your homeboy. I'm
Close
taking
one.
Russell. Taking Russell Christian. Coach Braddock down there has just got a system that nobody in that CFA has been able to figure out, and I love Coach Wilson to death, but I don't think it happens Friday. I've got Russell.
All right, split decision on this one. I think you're going to stay the same decision.
By the way,
Yeah.
Russell, for the conference, they're in the CFA, 4-time state champ. Back to back to back to back.
So 4 straight. All right, the Ezel Harding Christian School Eagles, after a no practice week and tough loss to Grace Baptist, they have their first in division matchup because they were moved to the north. So they have a matchup on the road against the Franklin Christian Academy Falcons. Do I even need to ask, James?
Oh, no.
No, Ezel Harding.
Ezel Harding.
Ezel Harding.
I think and not just for that reason. I do think they bounce back with being able to practice. And, Falcons have been off this last week. and I don't think it'll help him. I think he's all Harding be just fine.
All right, and now Coach Austin is no longer in the studio, so we can freely make our predictions on this.
I would have made it with him.
You would have made it anyways. The Franklin Classical School Knights have their first in-division matchup for a North battle up in Springfield to collide with the South Haven Christian School Patriots. And at least for South Haven, they had their victory against Zion. They are now 1-0 in division after their victory against Lighthouse Christian School on the road. So this matchup can potentially punch South Haven's ticket into the Division I playoffs, as of course everybody in the conference has a ticket punch there. But all right, the Coach Sawyers and the Patriots colliding with Coach Austin and the Knights.
I think Classical gets back on board. I think they would have. I'm not saying they would have had a good game Friday night or last night rather. Zion would have won, but they still would have had a good showing. Okay. I do think that they'll be just fine with South Haven, and I've got them winning.
You got Classical win on this one. All right, Brendan, what's your take?
They're punching that clock in. They're punching their ticket in to the playoffs.
South Haven?
South Haven is definitely punching in.
Oh, boy.
That what's his name? The running back?
Sorto.
Sorto.
Ben Sorto, yeah.
He's going to take them. He is going to lead them the whole year to the playoffs and punch it.
Ooh, I'd love to see Ben Sorto in playoff mode too. That I'm sure that they'll get to the playoffs in some way. But yeah, especially once he gets going.
It's almost like he already is. And he's just like
you also could have him drop back and throw an interception to several different people. So
playing every game,
Not him,
game like it's
the
playoff.
quarterback.
And I think I mentioned it earlier in the year, but at least for South Haven, they'll know by the end of September after their game against Easel Harding, they'll know what seed they potentially are in the playoffs because they'll have all their division matchups locked in. So that'll be interesting to see. All right, and Lancaster Christian Academy, they will host the Lighthouse Christian School Lions. Sean Bell returns to collide with his former head coach and Jason Bragg, and with Lighthouse taking two tough losses, two tough losses against at home, their first game on the road. Lancaster Christian, a really good motivational win for them out against Providence Christian and on the road. They'll have their first home game. So, Brendan, Deuce Bragg, the junior, will face off against Lighthouse's offenses and schemes. Does Coach Bell get the victory over his former head coach, or does Coach Bragg tell him, I'm still the head coach?
I'm going Lighthouse Christian. I think they recover on this one.
All right, Lighthouse.
Lighthouse as well. I love Deuce and I love the David and Lane. Almost said Lance. There's some great guys there at Lancaster. I think Lighthouse finally snaps out of their funk. Not funk. That's a bad way to put it. I think they finally snap out of this losing streak they have going on. In all fairness to them, if they do lose this one, it's not a divisional loss. So it's still safe. But it's the whole teacher versus a student, situation. So this one be good. Yeah. I almost wish we could be there. I wish we could catch it.
Yeah, if only they moved that game to a Thursday or Saturday matchup, that would have been special. But all right, we move along.
I gotta give a special shout out to somebody. What's up? You know who you are.
You want to do that one more time since the camera's actually focused on you?
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, now it is.
What's up? How you doing? Keep it moving.
Very specific. Lighthouse Homeschool Warriors, they travel on the road to face off against the South Christian Patriots. And Coach J.J. Duarte, they are 1-1. Tough loss against the Freedom Cowboys at home. They travel again before they have a bye week. So, James, who you got in this one?
Listen, I think that Lighthouse was on a roll. I got to quit watching this. Lighthouse was on a roll against North River. Had a little hiccup with Freedom there. I get that. They're going to get back on the winning track. They're going to take the win against Southern Christian. pick up that big division win. There's now 5 teams in that division, and I don't remember if all of them are playoff eligible. So this is the first divisional game for Lighthouse Homeschool. They could really put themselves in a good situation in terms of getting into the playoffs, because I think for that conference, it's only the top 2 that get in.
Yes, as far as
It's
this year,
just straight into the
Just the top
championship.
two,
There's
yeah.
no playoffs. It's like the old FBS.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's at least for the first 2. You disagree with James?
No, I'm going to go with Lighthouse as well. I think they learned from their loss last week. I just think they played a better team, and now I think we're going to get this dub.
All right, and the next matchup, we predict Providence Christian Academy. They will travel to Columbia to collide with the Zion Christian Academy Eagles. Keep shouting out. I know who he's shouting out to. Zion Christian Academy. Yeah, I am. The Eagles collide with the Lions of Providence Christian. And Brendan, we saw how Zion has played. We've seen the scores from Providence Christian. So, question is, does Ferguson potentially punch their ticket into the playoffs to go 2-0, or will Zion Christian get the better of them on Friday night?
Man, go ahead and punch that in there, man, because like he said last year, if you want to be Providence, this is the year. This year, he's going to go for the money.
I think from now on, my thing is listen. His thing is punch it in there. We now have our own catchphrases. I like it. We should do T-shirts and merch.
We
Y'all
should.
should buy it.
We should, yeah.
Okay, so this is all day. Dub Providence.
Dub for Providence over
Yeah.
Zion. You got any explanation on that from what you've seen in the last 2 weeks? I mean, I know you predict your stuff preseason, but anything?
I absolutely hate the fact that they weren't able to win Friday.
Mhm.
Seems like they couldn't put points on the board against Lancaster. They came off that high of shutting out Classical, winning the first year game of the year, going to your second game of the year at home, and just not perform the way you want to. Now they get to go to Zion. They maybe get out of that home atmosphere, which, by the way, was fantastic. I did see a video of their student section. It's pretty cool. Pretty great student sections. But I think they're able to go on the road, and I think they get it done in Columbia.
All right, if that's the case for Providence Christian, they'll punch their ticket more than likely to the Division I playoffs because of all the good tiebreaker stuff. Bracketology will start in about a week or 2 for me. Well, I'll be the only one who's crazy enough to figure out how teams get into the playoffs with wins and losses because James tried it. Yeah, James has tried it multiple times, and he's given up.
Till October.
You say that every year, but I do that just as hypotheticals to explain to people. But it's usually around mid-September when we start that because it's now mid-October for when the playoffs start. So you can't wait until like the last several weeks of the season. So
Well, if you
I could probably start
you
September
start-
26th, which is the Sunday
Yeah.
after South Haven as their final step.
That's what
but
I'm saying. You
I-
start it before that
that's
first
what
game
I'm
of October.
saying. Nah, I'd probably September 10th or September 17th is when I'll start. Something like that.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, and the Sacred Heart of Jesus High School Knights will face off against the Abundant Life Christian Academy. Let me pull up their mascot just to get it
Who?
right for
Abundant
you.
Life?
Yeah,
The
Abundant
Owls.
Life. The Owls collide
Hey.
with the Knights.
Hey, hit the chat. I just thought of something. Hit the chat or hit the comments if you guys want me to start a cameo.
What?
I should start a cameo.
All right, well, Sacred Heart will have another home game before they go on a bye week against the Owls. Who's going to take the victory in this one, especially with Sacred Heart having that tough loss at home where they asked for the clock to be run with a lead by 22 points?
Let me see. I know we hate dead airtime, and obviously, I don't want to just be the stooge that picks Tennessee over out of town. I want to see if Abundant Life played last week because I would be interested to see if they did or not. They are the Owls, which is extremely interesting, actually. I love it. I love it. They're out of North Little Rock. They did not play last week, so this is their first game of the year on the road. Apparently they had football in 2004, 2005, and they did not have football again until last season.
Yeah,
So they took about 15 years off.
Yeah, reboot it. Looks like this is their first game of the
This is
season.
their first game of the season. Last year they went 3-5.
Mhm.
No, they went 3-4 because a couple of these games are doubled up here on Max Preps.
Mhm.
And they do play out of the I don't want to get this wrong. Hang on, I want to get this conference right. This is
The Heartland Christian
Heartland
Conference.
Christian Conference,
For
that's
8
what it
men.
is.
Yep.
Has teams out of Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Mhm.
But no, like I said, I don't want to be the stooge that just picks Tennessee to pick Tennessee. But I'm gonna pick Tennessee. Sacred Heart gets back, gets in the win column.
Any disagreements there?
Nope. No disagreements at all. I'm going with James on Sacred Heart of Jesus.
If you
Gonna get that
disagreed,
done.
I'd want to know what you know.
What is your insider
about this
information?
abundant life
I would
team.
just go on a hunch.
The Fighting Rangers, they start out their season 0-1. They're trying to turn it around with another 11-man game this Thursday as they host their first home game of the year, and that is a collision with the Springwood Wildcats. James, our Southern Prep expert, what do you got?
Oh my gosh, you're killing me, Smalls. So this is Springwood's first game of the season. Have not played up until this point. Well, they did play Friday night, and there's no score reported. I'll pull up their season last year for kicks and giggles. Okay, so they were 4-7 last year. They did beat Southern Prep 21-14. They also beat Banks Academy out of Birmingham, and they beat Cornerstone Christian. That was 3 of their 4 wins. They did not do well otherwise. I'm taking Southern Prep on this one.
All right, you got Southern Prep. And any protests from you here?
Nah.
I'll go with the other team.
You going with Red Rolling Springs for that
I'm gonna go
Saturday
with Rolling
matchup?
Springs. Yeah, I'm just gonna let's see what the new guys got. I'm willing to take that shot.
He's going Red Rolling Springs.
I thought we were doing Southern Prep.
Yeah, you're right. You're going. Sorry, I looked at the wrong thing. Yeah, he's.
Twilight Zone
You're
moment.
right. You're going with the Springwood Wildcats.
I thought
so a split
Stranger
decision
Things had
on
come
that.
to life.
Probably something like that. All right, and
I
then
was like, when did we make the jump?
we make the jump now. So that Thursday matchup, split decision with Southern
Home
Prep,
slice.
Springwood Wildcats. Tennessee Heat have a home game on Saturday
There we
night.
go.
Before we get into the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, they have an 11-man game against Red Bowling Springs. So, James, with that matchup, who do you got?
He looks stressed.
No, I'm perplexed. It's another Meadowview situation. I'm sorry. This Springwood Southern Prep game. Springwood is one of those teams. They're in the AISA, which is Alabama Independent School Association. So all private schools that play 11-man, they won't sanction 8-man, and they have 23 on their roster. So, guys, do you care about your players? Just wondering. Okay, Tennessee Heat, Southern Red Bowling Springs. I mean, Red Bowling Springs is fun to say. But, yeah, you got to take Tennessee Heat on this one.
Also, Red Bowling Springs, they supposedly had a game against the Webb School on Friday. There's no score reported on Max Preps, so they at least had one game going in, which is also non-district for them.
Who's that? What?
That was Red Bowling against the
Did
Webb
someone
School.
whistle?
I heard that too.
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, it might have been last year. You said Red Bowling Springs had a game?
Yeah, that was against the Webb School on
It did
Friday.
not happen. It got canceled. I believe it was on Webb's end.
Okay, so cancel game on there. But anyways, what was your pick again? Tennessee Heat.
Bring the heat, baby.
All right, bring the heat. Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is. Anyone else joining me on this drum roll? Just these two? All right. There we go. We're headed down to Alabama.
Who can drum faster?
First
Brandon?
time.
Hang on.
Are we doing
gosh.
open hand or are we doing knuckles?
Open hand, just like this.
Open hand? Okay.
Ready?
Open hand.
Hey,
All right.
y'all be the judges. Ready? Set, go.
I'm going to say it was dead even. We have to go to
Oh, come on!
Hey.
Go
It's
to the
dead
replay.
hold on.
Protest
hold on.
that decision.
No, dead even. We're going to a coin toss. Ha ha! Slam
boy.
the tiebreakers of the TSIAA on that one. All right. We are headed
This is with
down
the
to
shade today.
Alabama as the Grace Baptist Academy Golden
Feeling
Eagles. They
himself.
have a collision against the Evangel Christian School Lightning in the unstoppable force analogy that you were talking about. Oh, it's going to be a good matchup. At least I hope it is between those two, with 106-0, and then last week a 54-6, and then for Evangel, 56-0, and then the week prior they had a
Pretty
closer
solid
game,
win.
pretty solid
I mean,
win
that-
against
Very
Franklin
solid.
Christian.
It wasn't
and
as
everything,
close. Their opponent had a touchdown less than what the final score was up until like 3 minutes left in the game.
Yep, until about
So,
3 minutes. 3
Just
minutes.
a dominant performance.
Yep, dominant performance, and we're ready to see it all in action as the Evangel
It was great to
Lightning.
go back down.
Oh yeah, love
love
going down there.
You'll love it too.
Yeah, Evangel. Yeah, again, 41-29 on their first game of the season at home, and then on the road, 56-0.
Essentially 41-23.
Essentially, yes. So, but against Grace Baptist at home, it's going to be a good Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. And for Grace Baptist fans, if they can't make the travel, you got a stream that you can watch. So it's especially from all three angles. I wonder what special angle you're going to try on Friday night.
Hopefully
if you
we have
try
all
anything.
three of our camera operators.
And if you do follow us, subscribe.
Yes.
Boom. Turn
Yeah,
the notification
yes,
bell on.
and you know exactly
Hit
why,
that
because
bell.
right now on the subscriber count we are at 973. We're 27 short from the 1,000 mark. So help us, help us get to that point. 27
Y'all already
subscribers
did
away.
it on Instagram.
All
Y'all
right.
killed it on Instagram. Instagram right now we're sitting at. Hang on.
1,000 something like
no. 1108.
that. Mm-hmm.
Shout out y'all. Y'all are insane.
Sounds like our Instagram followers ain't following.
Yeah, they
I
need to
know.
subscribe on
YouTube.
YouTube.
What's up with that?
Subscribe
right?
on YouTube, guys. All right, James, I have a feeling I know what pick you're going to go with on this one, but Grace Baptist colliding with the three-time defending national champions in the Evangel Lightning. I know I mentioned it over and over, but it's just you have to mention that point anytime you're going against these guys. But Tim Smith and company against Babateka and company, coming off of a 2-0 start for both teams. Who is going to exit out of Alabama 3-0?
Grace's RPO is just ridiculous. The efficiency that they run it with, Cooper Connect is stupid quick. But you do have Coach Smith, who's been doing this a very long time, and Coach Ateka has been doing it a long time. This is to me, this is a game between two veteran coaches who can make the better in-game adjustments. Because they know about each other. Yeah, Grace knows Evangel's going to come in here. They're going to sling the ball around. And they're going to hand it off to Tyler Wilson. Evangel knows Grace is going to just move you to the left, move you to the right, and have Cooper connect up the middle. It was what their bread and butter was Friday night. They can do other things. I'm not saying they're just pigeonholed in this box. Okay? These coaches are going to be adjusting all game. You're going to see little tweaks here or there. I'm here for it. Absolutely here for it. I do think, though, that Coach Smith gets it done. I've got Evangel with the win.
It's going to be a beautiful chess match to witness between the two coaches on Friday night. That's going to be fantastic. Not only that, as you mentioned, Connect is fantastic with the RPO and all that.
This ain't chess. It's Stratego.
I love Stratego. You and I got to face each other at some point.
Oh,
Stratego.
for real?
Yeah.
Yo,
You and I got to have a Stratego match at some
we
point.
do.
We'll
put it
1,000
on-
subscribers. We'll do a live.
No, let's put it on
that'll be
Instagram
more-
Live.
Sure. Yeah. I'll
Bring
bring
a
the
Stratego and
Yeah.
we'll play it on Instagram Live.
I don't. You talking about before the show at some point?
Yeah.
If you can get
Do it
here.
before the show. Do it
Yeah.
before the
Get
show.
here at 2:00 and we can.
The shade.
All right. Brendan,
We should play a game of Stratego during the show. Just like
the amount of mental power it takes for that kind of thing, we'd probably not even remember where the pieces are. Like, come on now. All right. Brendan, Evangel, Grace Baptist. You've seen Grace Baptist. You've seen a few bits and clips of Evangel from the games we've done, but you got to make a prediction before we head down to Montevellum.
And look, this is my second time going to Alabama, and eventually I need to go back to Chattanooga because that's my second home. Shout out to Chat. So I'm going to go with Grace Baptist because, I just rather be able to walk around Chattanooga without any problems. But other than that RPO, never seen a team run it so well.
You've only been to Bama twice?
Look, fam.
I mean, I don't blame you. You're not missing out on much.
I was about to say, I hear there's not much there, so.
Love you, Bama. Not really. But
Man.
I bleed orange, so
He
I guess I need to be looking at this one.
Oh, that's why you said what you said.
Yeah.
What?
He bleeds the same orange as his cap. As he's not saying anything, he doesn't respond. Yeah,
I'm reading our chat.
yeah
It makes my head hurt.
when you do that,
Y'all are
yeah.
insane in the chat, yo.
Yeah, when you read the chat and when you focus on it, you get derailed.
It's like
It happens.
another world.
It happens. But yes, we will be down in Montevallo, Alabama. The
Yeah.
Evangel Lightning host the Grace Baptist Golden Eagles. So that gets through our prediction segment. And thanks to all of you who participated in the Player of the Week voting last week. It was pretty.
That was
it
dope.
was
Shout
pretty
out
good,
to
yeah.
all y'all.
Yeah, congratulations
Shout
to the first
out.
player who got those victories. We're gonna get the voting out tomorrow.
name.
Get the coaches and everything. You say his name.
Cyrus Satterwhite.
Mm-hmm. Cyrus Satterwhite. Congratulations to him on the.
Come on, round of
Thanks for
applause. Give it to
everything.
him. Give it
Yeah.
to him.
Got his Crumble Cookie gift card.
Oh yeah, the Crumble Cookie Extreme Player of the Week. So, the good stuff. By the way, I need to get some crumble cookies to the studio at some point. We'll get those pretty soon. Try that. I've never had. I've looked at some of their flavors too.
You've
Some
never
good
had
stuff.
that?
No, they just opened a
Dude.
location in Franklin earlier this year.
Do what?
Yeah, Audrey hasn't
They've
had
got
any
one in,
either.
Hendersonville.
Yeah, they just opened the Franklin location, I think, late last year, something like that. They've started popping up more across the nation and such, but of course, specifically Crumble Cookie in Vanderbilt Village. Shout out to those guys
21st
for
Avenue.
sponsoring it.
They
So,
have
yep.
one in Murfreesboro, and
Yeah, I've looked at their flavors. They look good. It's just I gotta try it at some point. So I'm sure we'll
whenever you get a chance,
You got to get up
when
out of
you're
your
in
bed,
class.
Spence.
just get up out of
gotta
bed.
take a shower. Get out of the shower and dry off and get dressed. Hop in your vehicle, motor
That's-
vehicle.
Yeah, that's breaking my daily routine already.
Hop out to your Highway 96. Forget your daily routine. Your daily
Just to get the
routine
crumble
needs
cookie.
to include crumble cookies.
And you know what?
Mine can't because,
And then bring back the James catchphrase. You know what you need to do with those crumble cookies? Get some milk and dink and dunk and dink and dunk. That was one of your signature phrases on there. That sounds like a
it's fair enough.
yeah. It's I will make sure that happens at some point. All right.
It's just happen as you come to class. Since you're already
That-
in the area.
That's actually a good
Oh.
idea because
Oh,
we got,
Spence.
I mean,
look.
you're reminding me. I got to start classes tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Do you really?
College semester starts for us
I
tomorrow.
gotta
yeah.
go to work
All
tomorrow.
3 of us. You do not know the struggles of graduate school.
Hey,
I'll just leave
shout
it
out
at
to all
that.
the students who only have one class. I feel y'all.
Shout out to all the shout out to all
I feel
the
bad for all
heavy
y'all
load
that has-
undergraduate students and the graduate students who have to go through this semester.
Prayers are with
I'm
y'all.
not saying
Prayers.
your stuff ain't hard, but have you ever been in the second-story parking garage underground?
Not to the extent you had on Friday, where you were already drenched in sweat
Oh.
walking in, but you know,
Oh.
you know, how
Oh,
it
I
is.
just saw what I got to do for. I just saw what I got to do for work the next 2 days, and it's
Okay.
like 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, lucky you. All right, so James, you've already done a bunch of shout-outs during the show because of the chat. Do you have any other shout-outs you want to end the show with?
First off, shout out to everyone who sent us updates Friday night.
You're looking at the wrong camera
Appreciate
again.
you. Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
so you're right.
I'm so used to the one camera system. Shout out to everyone who sent us updates from the other night. Y'all are dope. Y'all are awesome. Shout out to everyone who participated in the Player of the Week voting.
Mm-hmm.
That was incredible.
Yeah, go ahead and set
Um,
that standard. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go ahead and address this. Okay,
Oh, boy.
if you're listening,
I was going to do it on the shout out, but you got it.
what the voting?
Not the voting, but like how Grace kind of reacted with the player of the game.
I was about to get to that anyways, yeah.
Y'all can have that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's talk about this on the voting. A lot of people have said, "Oh, you have to have a Gmail to vote." That is not true. If your email, whether it's a work email, school email, whatever, is run through G Suite, you can use that to vote.
If you have a YouTube account, that's associated with the
Yeah,
Gmail
exactly.
thing too. So,
So-
if you don't have a YouTube account at this point, first thing you do is set up one and subscribe to 8 Man Extreme on YouTube,
Absolutely.
Boom.
and then you and
Look
then
at that.
yeah, and then use it to vote for the Crumble Cookie Extreme Player of the Week. Very simple, but any others?
Give a well-deserving player a cookie. All right.
A few
Give
cookies.
him a cookie.
Several cookies.
A
Yeah.
few cookies.
Mhm.
There you go. That's it.
Well, you already know. Grace Baptist, they set a high expectations for the player of the game with their team all coming together and crowd around the guys and having high energy. So you know what, guys? For the rest of the year, I want that energy for player of the game. And teams, if you don't do it, I don't know. What are we going to do, Spencer?
The bar is set.
No, yeah,
the
I
bar
did.
keeps getting raised.
You kind of took, this is the first Fairlife Core Power Protein player of the game. First time all the players rallied around him and told him to chug the protein shake. Still said it tasted good, and he was the first one to do the new strawberry banana flavor, which
You have to chug as well. The strawberry banana is wonderful for anybody who wants to try it.
Yeah, I noticed. Because Audrey's saying she likes chocolate. Chocolate's my personal favorite too. Two of those. I've had both the chocolate and vanilla. I need to try the banana strawberry and strawberry banana ones.
I did the strawberry. I'm watching the stream. Shout out to Mr. Tomset who just walked in.
Oh yeah. Shout out to
walked on.
owner of GracePointe Healthcare over there. But yeah,
I'll tell you what. If you don't do it, we won't give you guys shakes.
Don't say that. Come on now.
No. We need that. Okay.
The standard is now high.
No, we won't do the post-game interview. We'll just be sitting up there with him, and we'll find him on the field and just start chucking. Catch it if you want it, son.
Start throwing protein shakes at him. But no, seriously, all the players, if you guys win the game, you know what has to happen. You got to surround our camera. You got to be ready for whichever one your coach selects, and be ready to cheer them on as they're getting the T-shirt on and drinking the protein
I'm very
shake.
impressed that the T-shirts have all fit over the jerseys.
Oh yeah, they're all very durable. They're
we
good
also
shirts.
haven't had a big old lineman yet, though. So
Not yet. Not
not like.
I mean,
us.
Bo was a good
Not
size
like
too.
us.
Not
Bo
like
was,
us,
yeah.
right?
He was a good size, but not full lineman build. But I think the term is husky. I think or something like that. Husky, fluffy, or one of those on the scale.
Dang.
Like that. Something like that.
We can't say the other
Yeah,
two.
you can. Well, James can. Shout out to Chick-fil-A 2019. He can. So, all right. Well,
Oh,
as we
my
mentioned,
gosh.
but as we mentioned, it looks like unless you guys have any other shout-outs or anything, other than that, shout out to Audrey running all the cameras as well between everything. We'll get her on camera at some point.
I did.
At some point.
I connected my phone to the hub.
Oh, you swapped it out. She didn't switch it.
Oh,
yeah, she
man,
didn't switch
come on.
it.
Hang on, hang
so
on.
humble.
No.
Hang on,
We
hang on,
can
hang
do
on.
this later.
There
This
we go.
at some point later. Yeah, it's going to be blocked by the tripod. But shout out to Audrey, our producer today,
Ah,
running the show entirely. Probably hates me for
I
that,
can't
but
actually see if I'm back on Brennan yet. But
yeah, but
really good. Okay.
yeah, but that but I believe that pretty much is it for us today. So week 2 is in the books, and we head to week 3, and that's going to do it for. That is going to do it for Extreme Talk presented by GracePointe Healthcare. Fueled. You got one more
Are
thing.
you looking at the chat?
Do I need?
I didn't
do I dare
realize.
look
I didn't
one more time?
realize.
James.
My baby girl was, I didn't realize my baby was watching.
Shout out to Monica as well, the actual executive director, the boss.
Shout out to the
The-
boss
the
lady.
The boss. Shout out to the boss on
Protein
that.
shake cannon. That's what I'm gonna start calling my.
So
This will be destruction, and this will be protein shake cannon.
protein shake cannons. We have.
I
way
got
too
a
much
solution for you. This is destruction, and this is protein shake cannon.
We have way too much fun on this show. That's going to do it for Extreme Talk, presented by GracePointe Healthcare, fueled by Fairlife Core Power Protein, financially supported in part by First Horizon, and sponsored by Crumble Cookie and the other Iceberg Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. For James Shannon, Brendan Daniel, Audrey Green, as well as Monica Shannon, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you Friday for Evangel hosting Grace Baptist.
See ya!